Guys, welcome. Mark Edward Davis here. We have a fantastic live crowd here tonight that are just kicking it with me and having a great time here in the tribe at Dream Connections. And I'm here in the office of Dr. Jeffrey Life, my good friend. You guys are going to hear more about him all this year as he and I are going to be doing some projects together to help preserve and give long life and good health and nutrition to men as he's done for me and some of the other guys. But aside from that, my being able to stay with his family and just they love on me so much. It's such hospitality here. Just giving you a setting for the background. Tonight's topic is fun. This is going to be one to keep and come back to. So get ready to take some notes and dive in because I'm going to give you some great stuff. And so let me kick that off. Let's go to screen share, and I want to get this PowerPoint going. All right, we got it kicked off. So the topic for tonight is, can you handle a Ukrainian woman? Now, there's a reason for saying this and asking this question because guys in a relationship find out three things right away. One is they got to get used to being a woman who is beautiful and is used to keep handling herself in a different way than you're used to back home. Second of all, she's going to look to you for leadership and want to know what it means, to her. What's it like? She just means direct. You're going to have to deal with somebody who's very direct and deal with that. We're going to talk about that tonight. And you're leading. So it's like how you lead in a relationship. All these things are new to you, and you're going to bring your preconceived notions into this and screw it up. And you'll be disappointed because you'll be missing out on so much. I mean, it's the juice of why you're doing this, juice of why you're looking for a woman like this. And so for that, let's get you prepared so you can handle being in a relationship with the Ukrainian woman. And I'm going to get your guys' chat over here. I love keeping up with it. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to go through the list of things that I wanted to cover for the topic for tonight. Character traits I just believe are true of Ukrainian women, that they're loving, that they're devoted, they're health conscious, they're a cheerleader, that have a great sex life, and they have a nurturing heart. Now, on the other side of it, things that guys get a little freaked out on, they can perceive as negative, are one, that they're very direct, is that they're strong convictions, which some guys call stubborn. I love that. They're looking for the man to lead, and they're going to be not as direct about their wants and dissatisfactions, and they're very discerning of what to share, and that can be a problem, so we're going to talk about it. And then they can be possessive/jealous. And so with no further ado, let's get into what do you need to be to handle her? And what would she want you to be? How would she want you to handle her? Because Ukrainian women want you to handle them. They want to be handled. They want to be in a secure, safe place where they know you can take care of them and they don't overwhelm you, and where you can say, I got this. So let me help you tonight. Get your hands around a Ukrainian woman and say, I got this. Oh, puns very intended. I love what I do for a living. Okay, so what are they like in a relationship? Let's go back through this again. So in the area of loving, I mean this way. So when I say that they're loving, I mean that for them, the emotions of being in love are everything. They want to feel in love. They want to feel the energy of love. They want to feel in love with you. They want to feel like they are loved deeply by you. And so if you understand that is number one, then the question is, how can you become the kind of guy that stirs out of her emotions of love, where she feels love, she feels in love with you? I've done a lot of talks on these, and before I make them into a full course, there's some that are still available on the YouTube channel. So if you're to go in there and find the ones called How to Romance a Woman Properly, you'll understand about how to generate those emotions in a woman. But number one, a Ukrainian woman in a relationship wants to emotionally feel loved and feel in love with somebody else. If she feels that, she has a happy woman. She's dancing on the clouds and skipping, and there's a huge benefit package for you in that. So that's number one. Number two is devoted. Now, by devoted, it means they are going to be loyal to you. In fact, it's almost scary when you're in a relationship with Ukrainian women. I'll never forget the first year I was with Anna, I had this thought. I go, my gosh, this woman would literally take a bullet for me. She would kill somebody for me. She is that devoted. It was almost intimidating. It's like, holy cow, I've never had somebody that locked onto me before. And it can be intimidating. But in a way, um, I hope it helps you relax. Because in that, if you can relax and realize that as conflicts come up and things come up, it's not going to be about your relationship or about her commitment to you. It's about the thing. So this is one of the great parts about being in the relationship with the women. Be the rock. There you go. You're great. I love your comments, guys. Is that if you understand this, and I've had this happen before, I've shared a couple of stories like this because there's many of them actually with our married couples where guys will tell me, he goes, we went to this conflict. Immediately I started going into my previous conditioning meltdown, going like, oh no, it's over. She's going to leave me. And one of the women who was so in tune with her husband was so in tune with him that when they started having this fight, she realized where he was feeling and where he was going. And she said to him clearly, she goes, honey, we are fine. I chose you. Okay. This is not a problem. What we did over here, what you did there, this is the problem. We need to talk about this. We're fine, but this is not fine. And it was so insightful and brilliant on her part to understand that that's the insecurity of the man. That's where he was coming from. Because every time we have a conflict with a woman in the West, we're immediately waiting for the nuclear trigger, right? The whole bomb, the relationship's over, it's all done, it's gone, yada, yada. And so that's what we're expecting. And so it was so amazing to me that the woman could see that, sense that, and reassure the man. So understand that in a conflict, if you can relax and know that you're going to be good, you're going to come through this, then you can just deal with the thing. And the goal of every conflict anyway is to get whatever was in between you out of the way so you can get back to number one, feeling in love. Sound pretty good? All right, I got more comments coming in here. It's fine. Yeah, you'd love to have a loyal woman, right? Okay, let's keep going. They're health conscious. Now, I'm going to share both sides of the story with you. Okay, so on one hand, I love it when I had a story of a guy who was overweight, he was obese, and he was dating a woman. And I've told the story a million times. It never gets old. So they're at dinner, and she tells her the romance coach. Hang on a second. Thank you for giving me that second. So the woman at the dinner tells this romance coach, she says to the guy, she goes, "You're fat." And of course, the guy's like stunned. He's ready to be offended by that. Somebody just called me fat. And he goes, "You have never had a good woman cook healthy food for you. I'm going to help you be healthy. I'm going to cook good food for you." And so it's really kind of adorable that she took on this thing as a project now. She wanted to help this guy. It gave her purpose. They're looking for a place to have purpose. I'll talk about that in a minute. But they're conscious of health and they eat healthy. And some of them do, restrictive diets in terms of calories or only healthy foods, or I don't get a lot of vegetarians. There are some, but a lot of them will do intermittent fasting. They're only going to eat during times of the day because they really are conscious about their body size, their health. A lot of them, do yoga. They go to the gym, or they walk so much all the time. There aren't many overweight, but they're very conscious of their health. Now, part of that is indicative to being in a culture that's cash driven. So please understand, they don't have an elaborate healthcare system like we do, because what they do is they figure most things you're going to have to pay out of pocket if they get sick. So they're going to make sure, pardon me, they're going to really make sure that they don't get sick. So they're going to be very health conscious. They're going to be your cheerleader. And I'd say this about any woman, but especially with the Ukrainian women, they're looking for how they can come into your life and how they can support you and help make your mission happen, help it come true. And so in a way, you need to think of that. And if you're aware of that they're almost looking to you like, and I'll talk about leadership in a minute, what can I do? Give them little things to do and celebrate them in that. I'm going to get into the answers to these in a second, but I want to go over them one by one. Great sex life. Now, I got to tell you, universally, we've had over 400 couples. Nearly all the guys will say these women love sex. They want it sometimes even more than I do. And, I've had, some guys had a challenge. Whoops. My picture keeps freezing up. I apologize for that. And I keep coming back. So it's good. One guy was saying, like, for instance, one of our very early couples, like 10 years ago, the guy, for religious reasons, wanted to wait until marriage. and he also didn't have a lot of money, so he couldn't come back often. So she told him she loved him. She goes, "That's fine." But she says, "I'm telling you, the day I arrive on U.S. soil, you better have a priest there because I'm taking you down that night." So it's like, um, and I'll talk a little more on that one again to the second side of this. And they have very nurturing, caring hearts. And so here, the way to answer all of these for them to be in that relationship is for the person, because we know that she's loving, is to be emotionally connected. And so the focus is you always want to maintain the emotional energy between the two of you. So she wants to feel connected. She wants to feel loved. So focus on that. Find ways to make her feel special, recognize something. And you reach out in the energy from just from within yourself, to reach out with the energy to her, to feel love, to give that energy to her. Just this, I treasure you. I love you. I think about you. I just draw you in. You're just so amazing to me. And to feed her what she wants, feed her that. So just um, the easiest way I can describe that is just to be emotionally connected. And so obviously with devotion, the other thing is to be equally committed to her as well. And just say, I'm your man and you are my woman. And they love hearing that. They want to be possessed in that way. They want to feel this commitment that, that their man would say, you're my woman. You are mine. They love that. I know that would backfire in the West, right? Where you're coming from. You tell the woman that you're mine. She'd be like, what do you think I am? It can be owned by you. It's like, no. This different group of women, they want it. They want you to be able to say, you are my woman. You are mine. And she'll say, and you are mine. And you both feel good about that because honestly, it's what the heart wants. It's what the heart wants. So I'm helping you to overcome your programming from all your dating here in you're from that Christian group that's no premarital sex. I understand. Um, yeah, looking so hard to find this is right. I got you guys. Anyway, so equally committed, health conscious. Let's talk about that. So you need to also be health conscious. Now, honestly, you know my story. I went from being a very obese man to being fit. And so we're going to be doing a whole program this year. And by the way, I apologize for the delays. I had to fire the team working my mobile lab, 5 months with them, and I just was not getting anywhere. So I literally just hired a new one today. So I apologize for the delays, but we will get the fitness app out. But you just need to be aware that she wants you to live healthy, to be strong, to live long. You finally found your woman. You finally found this hot, devoted, loving, sexy Ukrainian woman. Don't you want to enjoy her for as many days as you can on this earth? Then get your freaking body in shape to live long. Quit making excuses. It's the only body you have. You're going to have to get in shape, and it'll help your sex life. It'll help your energy. It'll help you love life more and have more years on this earth to do it with. Plus, as a man, we need you to be here to live out your purpose because we all do. Otherwise, we're less than for it and everybody else has to make up for it. Anyway, so cheerleader, be grateful. Whenever you see her supporting you, whenever you see her putting herself out to say, honey, you got this, I'm with you, right? Whenever you see that, just be thankful to her. Thank her back. Be grateful. Say, honey, it means so much for me too. By the way, just a rule in any relationship, whether it's work related, kids, buddies, anything else, when somebody treats you in a way that really felt good, man, go out of your way to make them feel amazing for treating you that way. Dude, you know, um, this is why when I get an email that's a compliment, I get somebody that says something nice to me, I will reply to them and said, I just want to tell you how much it means to me that you took the time to say something, because so much time we work and we don't know if it's, meaning anything. When somebody takes the time to say thank you, it means a lot to me. I want them, my personal goal is for them to feel wonderful for having said something nice to me. And do this in your relationship. If your woman supports you in some way that just felt wonderful, if she touched you in a way that felt wonderful, if she said something, if she prepared a meal, take the things that you love that were enjoyable to you and reward those so they want to do more of them. That's just a great rule for life. Now, in the area of sex, be sure to pay attention when later this year I do the course on romantic mastery. I do an entire module on sex. I do the 3-hour sex blueprint, and I'm going to go through Just a lot of great stuff on there. But your role as the man is to take her to places she can't go on her own. And so I love the teaching Dr. Robert Glover does on this. He goes, one, assume she's just as adventuresome and explorative and curious as you are to try everything. And if you broach a line and you got to come back a little bit. Don't get freaked out by it. Go, oh, I'm sorry. No. Just go, okay. Then go back and do something else. And that way you don't create an odd energy in the middle of the sex. But take her places, try new things, and assume she likes it as wild and wonderful as you. Now, keeping in mind a couple of things, it takes about 20 minutes. My picture keeps freezing up. I apologize. And I'll go through this in course. 20 minutes for a warm up, and after about 40 minutes, if you're doing this right, she can enter into raw animal desire. And so, getting her there and then taking her to places is a great exploration. But the fact that you're going to be with a woman who likes sex and wants sex helps a lot. And for us guys, honestly, the fact that we can please a woman and we can see the joy in her face, we can see the ecstasy, it's so satisfying and rewarding to us. So you're going to find somebody who wants it. Because honestly, with most sexual relationships, in most sexual relationships, a lot of the hangup is the women also are, not only the men don't know how to lead and take a woman there, but the women are waiting to be opened up and brought out. And so they're waiting and they don't come out. And so it becomes this awkward dance that's hard to work with. And guys don't know how to get through that. So we'll teach that to you later. But just at least know you're going to have a willing partner who's going to want it. And then she has a nurturing heart. She wants to be the caregiver. So honor that and cherish it. And when she feels like she can lean on your chest and say, oh, you're my safe place in the world, and then be that safe place. Wrap her in and say, I'm just so happy to be that person for you. And everybody keep your lines muted. I appreciate that. All right, let's go into the next group now. Okay, so they're direct. All right, so let's talk about that. I'm gonna go over the same list I had before. They're direct, they're stubborn, they're looking for the man to lead, always not direct about their wants and dissatisfaction, is possessive. So let's talk about it. So when somebody is direct to you and can say something as bold as you're fat, it's like, before we just do a natural knee-jerk reaction, pause. Okay, the most important thing I can tell you to do is pause. This is that moment when the storm comes, you have to rise above it and go, wait, almost be out of body looking down on it. So you're not emotionally involved in getting sucked into it. So at the moment where somebody says something direct to you, and it's somebody who loves you, then there must be something underneath it. And if she feels comfortable to say something to you, take some of those things as positives. Don't immediately just be offended and ready to defend and say, but you. No, it's like, just calm. And wait. And this is where curiosity helps. Curiosity helps right in these moments, because when you pause, you go, okay, if I understood correctly what you just said, what you're telling me is this, which I would normally be offended by, but explain to me what's behind it. And try to get that what's behind it kind of a thing. Tell me what I need to know. If I need to respond like this, I will, but tell me more, so kind of do that. It's kind of make yourself the scientist to, like, before you just respond to somebody who's very direct, and they don't mean it to be a relationship buster. They love you, but they say something really direct. Then the best thing you can do in those moments is to want to get deeper, and it'll bridge connection to her. She wants to feel connected with you. So if you actually have curiosity, what triggers you, woman? What makes you feel like that? When you respond like that and say that, then you can go and ask the questions. Okay, so if you said that, what you're assuming is you're thinking this, or tell me what you're thinking. Tell me why you just reacted that way. I just want to know. And then you can respond accordingly. But having that moment, it actually helps you to aim that moment to say, okay, there's something that just fried you. And normally I would respond and go, no, but I want to stop for a second before I catch yourself, right? Say, before I just go, like this, so you help me understand. Something tripped you, and you read something into it, or you think my brain was thinking something. So why don't you tell me what it is before I respond? I want to make sure I respond accurately to you. And if I need to freak out for you, I will. and do that so you can show her some understanding, concern, and that you want to learn how she thinks. That's really kind of a compliment to her. So there you go, Paul, you got it. Be curious instead of offended. That's really just great advice. So, oh, you can still hear me when the video freezes? Okay, then I'll just keep going. Thanks, I appreciate that. So the next part is in her strong convictions. That's another one. Be curious. When she's stubborn and she's coming back to being stubborn, be curious. The same thing. What's behind it? Obviously, this is something you really believe in, and maybe we're at a different place. Maybe you think I'm absolutely wrong, but tell me where this comes from. Is this where you came from an upbringing, or you had a bad experience, or something else? What led to this strong conviction? Maybe I'll join you in the conviction, or maybe I'll explain mine. And so what I'm telling you sounds great, and it's one of those I wish I'd been like that, and we all get caught up in the moment. So it's going to happen. It happens to me. It's going to happen to me again. I'll always be a recovering nice guy, and so I'm always studying that and trying to be better at it. And you're going to have to deal with the same thing too. So it's still going to be that matter of, if you can catch yourself. Don't let your heart be panicked that, oh no, I'm being accused of something, like it's going to lead to something. Just catch yourself, rise above it, and learn this process. You go, wow. Okay, I just saw you respond. Something's going on. You're really freaked out. Normally I would respond like this, but I want to know first, what's behind that? What do you think I have before I say anything? Where do those beliefs come from that you have? Where's that conviction? Something you grew up with, somebody offend you sometime, and in that, it gives you both a moment to pause and pull that tension out of the storm for the moment. And all right, let's go on. Looking for the man to lead. Now, let me back up for a second. There you go. So when she's looking for the man to lead in anything, cast your vision. So this is where, when I first got with Anna, and she was like looking at me like, okay, so I'm here. What's our family about? Where do you want me? What do I do? I was like freaked out. I was like, I don't know. You're just here. I mean, we just kind of do life. I hadn't thought about it. Really, I hadn't thought about it. The whole prize was to get her. And she's like, well, I'm here. So now what? And I think this is where the women look for a guy with ambition just means he has an idea where they want to go. Hey, I have an idea. I'd like to do this. Maybe we work together. We can buy a house someday. Or I'd love for us to do these. If we plan these, maybe we'll plan this great vacation. We'll do some traveling. Or maybe we'll plan this. We'll have some kids. Whatever the case may be. So if you're trying to see, the best thing you could do is some point in your courtship and in parts of your marriage, keep going back to this thing where I tell you guys to envision a day in your life 2 to 5 years out, and from morning to evening, and how she fits into it, how it gives you such joy. Envision what it feels like to be in relationship with her. And you'll have to come back to this several times, because you need to remind her and yourself. It's like, why am I in this? What do I want to feel like? What do I want our life to be like? What do I want to wake up to every day? How do I want us to be? And so that way, when you get out of it, you can say, remember, we want to feel like this. We want to be like this. So let's resolve this. We can get back to that. And so when she's looking for the man to lead, it's like, have an idea where we're going to go as a couple, but then invite her into the conversation. Start with something. It's kind of like the same thing, as simple as like going to dinner, right? Hey, I had an idea tonight. I was thinking about, I was in the mood for for whatever reason, either sushi or some Mexican. Either one sounds great, but I wanted to see, what are you in the mood for tonight? And I can go for that. But you put the first ideas out there and then get her feedback. Don't just leave her in an empty vacuum of, well, I don't know, what you want to do. And it comes in every aspect of this. When you have a conflict, you come back to the vision, say, look, honey, this is heavy. You're offended. I may have really screwed up, but you know what? I want more than anything else for us to get through this, because I want us to be back to that place of tender emotion. So whatever it takes for us to get through this, I'm with you. Let's go. Let's do the hard work right now. Let's have the hard conversation. I'm okay with it. I'm a big boy. I want to work through this. And I make other comments too. You should too. It's like, can we have an agreement between us that we will give each other the benefit of the doubt, that we always want the best for the other, that our intention is to love the other, that our intention is always to do good for the other. So if you assume that, then when you see something else, ask the question, I know you always want the best for me. I saw this. How did you see that as what was best for me? And lay some foundational work like that as the man. All right. Keep your line muted, guys, just for a little longer.
You'll be all
Thanks.
right, man. 10-day vacation, go to Ukraine. No,
Hey, Matt.
not going there when it's cold.
Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Matt, kid,
Sorry.
thank you. I appreciate that. Mute your line. All right. And tell your buddy you should go to Ukraine because it's cool. You know, he can stay home. You send him pictures of you with the girl. Anyway, one of the things though, and I challenge you this because I found this with many of the Ukrainian women, is one of our guys was in a relationship with a girl. They were just courting, and she didn't want to go a lot into her upbringing and a lot of stories from her past. Because honestly, for some of them, same thing with Anna. During that time, and her family's clean today, but at the time when she grew up, her parents were alcoholics. Her dad left, and she told me later, 4 years later, she finally told me some of the stories of what she had to deal with as a child of 3, 4, 5, 6 years old that were just horrendous. And in America, her parents would have spent time in jail for that kind of neglect. And for what she had to see with these drunken adults in the house, and so it's like, but she didn't want to tell me that. And I would say, well, why don't you want to tell me? She goes, it doesn't help us, doesn't serve us, and it does no good for you to know. It doesn't help. And I really don't want to go through them all. And I came to a place going, okay, it's totally you. You know what's best for us. If you don't want to share, I'm good with who you are and we are today. So let's just be us. And there's other times when she would be hurt or unhappy, where she would just go for a walk to work it out by herself. And she would come back pulled together until she could have the conversation. So there's sometimes when they don't express. The frustrating part is that when they go through that, not expressing what they wanted, and because they think they're protecting you, because they don't think sharing something is going to be beneficial for the relationship. They're trying to protect you. But then all of a sudden they blow up and they go, well, how come you never do this? You do that. And you go, well, you never said anything. I thought everything was good. And so this is where that's when you do that pause thing again. Wait. Okay. So look, this is new information for me. Let me come up to speed. You've obviously been thinking about this a long time, been bothering you. So I'm new at this. Let's help me come up to speed with you and get me into this. So what's been bothering you? And I wish you would have said something. You can always at any time, but I want to understand. So again, put the voice of wisdom over it as a layer of calm on top of this thing to help. And also, if you get that stunned silence where she's going like, no, I'm okay, and you kind of know it's not, pry one more time just to check, ask if I really want to help you. I don't want you to be hurting, please, can I help? Or you just really need to deal with this on your own? And she goes, I got it. I might tell you later. I might not. Okay. I trust you. She's a big woman. Let her have it. But if you're aware of it, deal with it pragmatically. It's not going to go away. This is going to be true for dating in relationship with almost every woman on the planet. But the thing is, they come from a good motive. They come from a place where they don't want to insert things into your life that aren't going to be beneficial for the relationship in their perspective, or that are old or gone. It's not relevant today. Or if she's unhappy with something she did and she decides to just suck it up and just not even bring it to your attention, and then later it builds up. Now, guys, we're guilty of this too. Nice guy syndrome. We're totally classical. We let things build up and then we finally explode and everybody's like, where the hell did that come from? So they're not the only ones who do this. I'm just want to give you some advice how to handle it. Is the same thing. Put the pause button on, go, wow. This is new. I was not expecting this kind of emotional energy. Please help me understand where this came from. I just want to be supportive to you, and then let it go from there. Now, the last one's interesting. We come from a place in the West where, we're the guys are always jealous for the girls because they're afraid that some other guy's going to steal the girl, that the girl's going to cheat on them, all this kind of stuff. In Ukraine, it's them who worry about us. And so they're very nervous because a good guy who is family oriented, likes marriage, other girls would try to steal him, and so they're watching. And so I literally had a guy one time who wanted to come back, and everybody mute your lines. Somebody's line got unmuted. A guy wanted to come back and help Dream Connections, and the wife was like, no. You're going to have other girls that are going to try to steal you over there. That was her thing. And so she was very protective and jealous because the guys in Ukraine all cheat. All the marriages, the guys all have girls on the side. So they're going to be a little insecure and possessive, and they'll get calm about it over the years. But to combat that, two things. One, just really give no reason for concern. I'd have guys say, "Oh, you can't blame me, dude, man. If a hot ass walks by, I'm going to be looking at that ass." When you're in front of your wife, you have a little self-control. You don't have to just watch that ass, you know? So it's like, be connected to your woman. And all that kind of ghetto stuff doesn't work if you're in a committed relationship. So I like the rule that Robert Glover talks about in this, being committed to the box of sexual energy. He says, two of you have this conversation, agree between you two, that all of your sexual energy be in one box you keep just for the two of you, and all of it. So you're not going to be doing porn sites on the side. You're not going to be lusting. You're not going to let your heart be tempted to go somewhere else. You're going to keep all of your sexual energy together, and you're going to keep it there. So hers is committed to there, yours is committed to there. So you feel this commitment of connection. They say, you don't have to worry about me. And you'll feel that about your woman, by the way. You'll quickly realize no rich muscle bound guy is going to steal your woman. This woman is so glued and devoted to you. It's unbelievable. And just give her that same feeling back and talk about it. Say, look, I love what we have. I promise you all of my energy together goes into this. You'll be fine. So let me talk about a couple of crises to manage. And we kind of really already talked about them here in the previous slides. But when you get in extreme emotions, blow-ups, and hopefully it's not you, but if you have to deal with a woman blowing up and she, for whatever reason, has just gone off, she read something wrong, somebody tried to cause trouble between you, all these different kind of things, something comes up, just either confront and say, hey, that's not true. So stop right there. Let's stop with the assumption, okay, this, or second, if you can't calm the immediate storm down, you go, it's time out. Okay, there's nothing going to happen any good right now in these emotional climate for us to work through. Let's come back to it in a couple hours and we will absolutely deal with this. But right now, nothing's going to good come out, and I only want good for us. So either confront it or postpone it, but don't tolerate bad behavior. So if you get a woman that actually starts getting physical, hitting, things like that, it's like, walk, you're out. It's just like, you can at that point disappear for 4 or 5 hours, and she's got to really think about it, because that was inexcusable. You can later deal with other bad behavior if it was going in a bad direction, and chances are she's going to feel terrible and come back around. If she doesn't, then you got to have a real conversation about the future of the relationship, But typically, I don't get that many bad behavior situations. Like I said, we've had, and I've kept track after 400. It's probably closer to 500 now. But we've had all these marriages, and less than 5% divorced. I don't get a lot of bad stories, and most of them because the guys realize they have a woman who's devoted. That if there's something that comes up, they work it out. So your job is to always be the calm in the storm, the voice of wisdom, and to have a vision past the storm. Okay. I wrote a whole book on this. So it's called How to Lead in Crisis. That's the 3 tenets of it: how to be the calm in the storm, the voice of wisdom, and a vision toward and a vision to the future. Now, mistakes. Again, when something happens or an offense comes up, assume you misunderstood, or help her understand that perhaps she misunderstood. But ask based on your perspective. So you can say, hey, look, before I just react to this, if you did what I thought you did, I would have a right to be very upset. I thought, and I saw this. Can you tell me what you meant and if I saw this correctly? So first of all, put it out there. Assume I could be wrong, but say, if I'm not, this is a problem. So here's what I saw, and be very straight, but do it that way. Of course, apologize when you're wrong, and then focus on getting back to bliss. And I think that's good advice all the time. Let me check the chat real quick. You guys are on it. All right. You guys are great. Great comments, guys. I appreciate it. And so that's it right now. And of course, the other question I have is, you ready to meet yours? Because listen, these women are worth it. They're the greatest in the world. A woman is always going to be a woman. I've always said that a woman is going to be the best personal development project you can invest in, with the highest return on investment, but it's still going to be a personal development project. You'll learn more about yourself, how to work with people, how to have a life with somebody else, but it's worth it. And yours is waiting for you. By the way, this is one of the new profiles that we just put up on the site today. You guys will look at her later. But if you haven't done it already, go to dreamconnections.com/my profile. Start your profile. We'll at least get to know you and talk about coming out to meet yours. And with that, I hope that's been helpful. And I'm telling you this, you, with the right coaching, are going to be able to handle, yes, can you handle a Ukrainian woman? You will be able to handle yours, and she'll want you to be able to handle her. You'll be glad you did. All right. Thanks, guys.